compared to the Focus Spot 3Z, when I put my hand in front of it, you could feel it get warm. But with this light, it will actually start to burn your hand after a while, which is pretty crazy. We on?
Yeah.
Welcome to this review. I just got my new lights. I've got one of them. So let's go ahead and do this review here. Make a little bit of room.
Oh.
Here we go. The DDJ-3Z. I ordered two of them. One was the floor model and the other one was a brand new model. I'm going to be doing a comparison on how those two stack up against each other and if floor models are worth buying or not. So, money.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. Like, I know what I'm doing. PowerCon locking, which is really nice, so it won't come unplugged. And then this looks like a mounting bracket. Yep, mounting bracket for you.
Beautiful.
You ready for this?
Ready.
Oh, there she is. Oh my goodness.
She's big.
That is a big boy. Let's get this thing out of here. Oh, I'm hyped. Alright, so we had a little bit of a mix-up with IDJ now. I ordered two 3Zs, they only sent me one, so after further negotiation, I'm now getting the 4Zs, which is a 100-watt upgrade, so a total of 200 watts. So we're going to return this one right now, and then they'll send those out in the next couple of days. And I'll be sure to do a little comparison between the two. Although these are discontinued and you probably can't buy them anymore, I'll be sure to let you know how much better the 4Z is from the 3Z. Alright, we're back, and today we're doing an unboxing. Today we're unboxing the Focus Spot 4Z. I'm gonna unbox it completely, tell you what's inside the box, then I'm gonna run through all the features, and then I'm gonna tell you how I like it. Now, before I open this box, previously I bought the Focus Spot 3Zs from IDJ Now. I only got one, and it turns out IDJ discontinued the light. So, through about 3 weeks worth of back and forth and buying this and buying that, we have settled on the 4Zs. They have finally arrived, so we're gonna go ahead and unbox them. Now, I did happen to film an unboxing with the 3Zs, so I'm gonna be mixing it in with this one to compare it to the 3Zs. So let's go ahead and unbox the 4Z. All right, boom, there it is, the Focus Spot 4Z. And the thing I love about these 4Zs is they come with the quality control sticker on top. So you know that the UPS person or no one in between opened it, and you know that they have checked your product and they know that it works. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and pop this lid. Ooh, crispy. Alright, we're gonna oh shit, just hit my fan. Alright, so we got the first box off, now let's get the second box off of it. And when you open your light upside down, when you flip it upward, it'll be right side up. And you get the manual on the bottom which is really important because if you want to DMX these lights, looking through the manuals and seeing what all the different channels do is really helpful. All right. Then you got a quick product guide that just shows you what things ADJ has to sell, and it also comes with the warranty information on the back, so make sure you keep that. All right, let's flip it up. Okay, get rid of that. That works. All right. Moment of truth. Let's just do it like this. Probably better. All right. So right out of the gate, the packaging is different from the 3Z. 3Z came with black foam, which I preferred because if you want to turn it into a road case like I'm going to do in my next video, aesthetically black styrofoam just looks better than white. In the styrofoam they have these little squares cut out, which I think is nice because if I'm going to turn it into a road case, I can always just pop the power in right here along with the stuff on the other side here, which I'll show you. So the power, locking, power con, awesome. And then you're gonna wanna save your styrofoam because we are going to be turning it into a road case. In the other square, we have a safety tether right there. And that's very important because if you're going to be hanging it on trussing, you do not want this falling on your artist or yourself. So having that safety cable there is smart in case one of your brackets fail. And then you have the Omega bracket here. I'll go ahead and unwrap it so I can show you what that looks like. Man, they always... I'll just use a knife instead. Coronavirus. I'm gonna cut myself. 10 years later. All right. Here is the beautiful Omega bracket here. That'll just hook right onto the bottom of your lights and it screws in. Awesome. Moving on to the light fixture itself. This is always the hardest part. Comes with a flavor packet as well if you'd like that. All right. Beautiful. Just beautiful. That was the unboxing of the Focus Spot 4Z, and right out of the gate, compared to the 3Z, the 4Z is fatter, completely fatter, thickness-wise. I'm gonna say weight-wise, it is really close or a little bit lighter than the 3Z, which is nice. After inspecting it, this is all cooling. So in the 3Z, I believe it has 2 wheels of Gobos. One of the wheels is spinning, the other one is not. This only has 1 wheel of Gobos that spin. So I will put all the facts about the light right here so you can see. But yeah, compared to the 3Z, this has more colors and less Gobos. So there's your little comparison there. All right, so now I got 2 of them here. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition the camera and we will do some further investigating. All right, so we're gonna take a look at the back of the fixture here. You have your power con in, power con out, so you can daisy chain to other fixtures like this. You have your DMX in and you have your DMX out. Everything you would need for a light fixture. Does not have 5-pin DMX like I think the 5Z has or the 6Z, but that doesn't really matter for me because I use 3-pin. Moving on to the front of the fixture, it comes with a little plastic flap here that we're gonna pull off here. Very satisfying. Okay. It comes with like a touch screen kind of, if you will. They're not physical buttons, which I don't like. It's more just touch and it works. So that might be a little finicky. We will find out. It also has a USB up front here, so if you want to update your firmware, you can go ahead and plug it into your computer and do that from the USB port. So let's fire this up and run through the menu real quick. Okay, when your fixture is done booting up, the screen will flash showing you your DMX number that you have. So let's go ahead and tap it so it stays on. Maybe. Okay, so now that I got my camera set up here, you can see that the fixture is in standard mode. That is just the amount of channels your light is going to take up. Looking at the manual here, standard mode means, let me tell you, standard means 18 channels. So to change that, you're gonna wanna go to your main menu. You're gonna wanna go down to your user mode again, and it says we are in standard mode. Basic mode is 16 channels and extended mode is 22. That's what I like to put my lights in to get more function out of them. So we'll take ourselves back to the main menu. In the function mode, you can control the status of the light, the dim mode, which will dim the light if you're, don't need it to be as bright. You can check the temperature, you can check the frequency of the light. You can look at the fan set. You can put it on high or low. I'm just gonna keep it on auto. You can change the settings of the LCD with the backlights. And let's see what else. You can update through USB. In the information tab, you can control, or you can look at the current running time of your light. So if it's been running for 3 hours, it will tell you the total time of the lamp and the total run time of the last time it ran, I believe. And you can clear all those if you want. You can also look at the temperature, the fan speed, and if there's an error, it will tell you what's going on there. Next up is the test tab. You can reset the motors there, test your channels, test your your panel, and test the you can recalibrate all your motors there. Up next is the program tab. There you can pre-program some scenes. I have not dove into this yet, so I'm not sure how great that is. On the FocusSpot 3Z, it just came with 3 or 4 preset shows you can just click on, but I believe with this light you have to pick and make shows to put in there. So that is the entire menu, and so we are just going to keep it. My cat's in my room. She's a little whiny baby. So we are going to set the address to 1, easy enough, and we are going to take it down to the basement and show you all the functionalities of this light. So I'm just gonna put it on this screen right here. Turn my shutter. Your shutter is going to be on channel 8 in extended mode. Everything's going to be in extended mode here. So, and then channel 9 will be your dimmer, I believe. All right. Wow. Look at it blow out the camera there. Okay. So there is your dot, or your spot. That is the smallest, I believe, that the light can go. Let me double check for you. Yep. So there's the biggest it can go. There's the smallest I can go. And compared to the FocusSpot 3Z, when I put my hand in front of it, you could feel it get warm. But with this light, it will actually start to burn your hand after a while, which is pretty crazy. So that 200 watt LED is definitely brighter and definitely a lot hotter. So let's go ahead and run through the things here. Okay, Channel 1, obviously you have your pan. Very, very bright, just shined it in my eyes. Channel 2 is gonna be your fine pan, so it's gonna move just barely. 3 is gonna be your up and down, or your tilt. And then channel 4 is your fine tilt, so it's gonna go up and down just barely. 5 is when you start to get into some colors. Red, oh, did I skip one? Orange, yellow, green, blue. And that is like a really deep blue. I think it comes out so well, and it just turns the whole room blue. On camera, it even looks purple. Then you have a magenta, and then an aqua. Oh no, that's magenta. The other one was pink, I think, something like that. And then you start to go through your split colors here, and so on and so forth, and then it starts to spin. Getting into Gobos here, we're gonna start out with your dots. Let me focus that in for you. So the great thing about this light is you can focus, and that's gonna be in your second fixture on your bank of 16, and it's gonna be your first channel. Kind of hard to explain, maybe I'll do it in a second video, but that's how you focus the light. Going back to the first fixture, first set of 16, then going on to the next, let's just do that. Going on to the Gobos here. Here is your first gobo, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and I think there's 8 in there somewhere. But anyway, there's your Gobos. And then after that, they start to shake. Slow, fast, you name it. And then once we go back to our first gobo here, they spin. Which is pretty cool. And then going on to channel 8, that is going to be your shutter speed. So that's where you're going to start to see strobing effects. They also have a pulsating, which I kind of like. Anyway. Yeah, it's pretty bright. The camera's gonna have a hard time picking it up. I don't want to give you guys a seizure. So let's move on to channel 9. Channel 9 is going to be your dimmer. So if you don't want your light to be that bright, because it's a close proximity to your crowd, you might want to turn it down or dim it. This is probably the dimmest it can go, all the way up to the brightest, where it starts to blow out the camera because it's so bright. Okay, and then in channel 10, channel 10 is a fine dim, so it'll get just barely darker and barely brighter. Moving on to channel 11, this is where things start to get pretty interesting. This is your circular, 6-facet circular prism. Boom, there you go. And this is still not as wide as it can go. This is the tightest beam you can have. After that, we're gonna turn, you can spin your 6-facet right there. Get a cool little effect there. And you can layer colors on there, as always, to get a really cool little light there. So we're gonna go back to white and move on back to our gobo. And then in channel 13 we have a Prism 1 indexing fine 16-bit. I'm not really sure what that will do. Anyway, moving on to channel 14, this is our 5-facet linear prism, which is really cool as well. And then moving on to channel 15, we can go ahead and rotate that prism as well, which is really cool. and you can match the speed of the rotation of the gobo, and you get a really cool effect as well. I really enjoy the linear prism there. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. And channel 16 is that Prism 2 indexing fine 16-bit as well. And then moving on to your 17th channel, which means you have to move on to your second fixture on your DMX operator. That's what I'm using, so I have to move to my second fixture because I just don't have enough channels on this. That's when you move into your focus, so you can unfocus your lights. And I'm just gonna focus that. And then channel 18 is your zoom. So now it's super wide, and I'm gonna focus that. There you go. That wall is kind of close to the fixture, so it's gonna have a hard time zooming in. Channel 9 is your zoom fine, so it's gonna zoom in a little bit at a time there, so you can get very precise with it. Channel 20, this is your dim curve. So that is just going to control how your light dims. And in 21, that is just going to be your light panning at max speed to minimum speed. Not really sure what that does. And finally, channel 22, this is going to be a whole slew of things. It will black out and pan / tilt, black out color wheel movement, black out gobo wheel. It'll reset your motors, and it will also run through your internal program scenes that you did previously through the menu. Not much to do there after you get past the zoom feature. So let's see how wide we can make this. Let's go back to our circular facet. Let's turn that on, it would be here. And we will go ahead and focus that. There we go. And this is probably 13 feet away from the light, so that's pretty wide of a dispersion. And then you can add colors, strobe it. Alright, so just in case you were wondering, this is what I was using to DMX the light. And what I meant by going to the next fixture was this first fixture only controls up to 16 channels. So I get 16 channels here, 8 channels in each bank here. So if I wanted to control the focus or zoom of the light, I would have to go to my second fixture here, and then I would be able to control my zoom, as you can see here. So that's what I meant. Overall, this fixture is fantastic. I really love it. It's nice and compact. You can easily fit this in a road case or a bag if you want to. And it's really freaking bright, which is almost a bad thing because I'm gonna be doing a lot of weddings with this thing. So if it's too bright and it's just blinding the crowd, then it's just gonna be an annoying fixture to have. My solution to that is I will just have to dim it down, which is kind of weird to think about, you having to dim down a fixture. But I might have to do it because I looked into this thing the other day just to test it out, and it was bright. It gave me a headache, and I saw that spot in my eye, you know, when you look at the sun for too long. You guys do that, right? Sometimes? Look at the sun? No? Anyway, so this thing's awesome. Compared to the 3Z, which this light kind of replaced the 3Z, it doesn't have as many gobos as I would like. This has, I believe, 6 gobos, and they rotate. The Focus Spot 3Z had 7 static gobos and 6 rotating gobos. So you're losing that you're losing those 7 static gobos, which I would like to have because you can put custom gobos in there that you don't necessarily need to rotate, like a custom logo or just, you know, other pretty gobos. So I don't like that. The thing that I do like about it, and the colors on this are way better in my opinion. They're more vibrant, especially with that 200 watt LED in there. It just completely changes the game on the colors that this thing can put out. With that higher LED, you're also going to get a longer throw with the light, so you'll be able to throw it across the gymnasium and see the gobos on the wall no problem. And this thing is just a beast. It's not even bigger than the Focus Spot 3Z, which I like. It's just a little bit fatter. But I'm gonna say I like this fixture more than the 3Z, even though it doesn't have as many features. It's still a rock solid light. You also get that better menu. The menu on the Focus Spot 3Z was not as good. I don't know how to explain that screen, but it wasn't as good in my opinion. It also has a better way to navigate your menu. On the Focus Spot 4Z, I will say that the menu is a little bit more complicated, and it's probably smart to read through the manual just to see what everything does. So in my next video, I'm going to be building custom road cases for these moving heads. I'm going to go to the hardware store right now, and we're going to buy some plywood, and we are going to make some custom road cases. So we'll see how that goes. It might turn out really bad, but I'm hoping to save about $100 or so on something that will do the exact same thing. So thank you guys for watching this review on the Focus Spot 4Z. I recommend that you pick up a pair of these, especially if you're doing larger productions. This is really close to the end-all be-all to moving heads. Of course, until you get to, you know, doing large productions where you have stages, and you're probably going to want something a little bit brighter than this. But for homecomings, for weddings, this is the catch-all. This thing can do most everything that you're going to need to do with a moving head. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.